You know, I've been putting out fragrance videos for going on 6 years now, and during that time frame, I've smelled so many different things, from your mass-pleasing freshies and aquatics in varying price ranges from $15 up to $200, $300, $400, all the way over to some gourmands, some sweet, tobacco fragrances, tonka bean scents, heavily boozy rum style of scents, chocolatey scents, all the way over to some pretty heavy duty hardcore oud scents. You know, I've smelled pretty much everything that there is to offer when we're talking about different types of scents. In terms of just everything, that'll never happen. I'll never be able to try everything on the market, but I pretty much covered all of my bases in terms of the different genres or styles of scents. So at this point, it can be a little bit hard for me to try something new for the first time and be blown away by it, especially when you take a look at a lot of what's being put out in terms of new releases by designer brands and niche, a lot of which can leave a little bit to be desired for a lot of us. You know, I think we all kind of feel that way right now. We're not getting a whole lot of a new experience from these new releases. Every now and then you'll get one that really stands out, but for the most part, a lot kind of blend in. However, with everything, there is an exception. And today we're going to be looking at the exceptions, 10 fragrances that actually left me completely speechless. Like, these blew me away because they're really, really good, and I necessarily wasn't really expecting them to be. And it's not that I thought these were going to suck by any means, but I was just kind of going into them like I would with any other scent. Like, okay, let's see how this is, and maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll suck. And it ended up being phenomenal. So I will provide links to these down below for you. Some of these might surprise you because we have some that are actually kind of cheap, some that are a little bit more expensive, but there is a wide variety of a whole bunch of different stuff in here. And also, if you're someone that's on the lookout for some hard to find, discontinued, or just really popular scents that often sell out, and so I'm talking about like your Luminous Night by Dolce & Gabbana, L'Homme Ideal Extreme by Guerlain, and just things of that nature, sign up to my mailing list down below, because when those pop up, I send out an email blast to you guys, and that way you can pick it up before they sell out. And so if you've been wanting to pick up some rare things, get on that mailing list, or you can check my community tab. I post the same deals over there. You just don't get notified for those ones. All right, let's get things kicked off with a more springtime-oriented scent, which is actually kind of right around the corner, which is always nice. We have Bulgari Man Wood Neroli. So pretty self-explanatory with this one. It's all about the light woods in here, nothing heavy or strong or anything like that, just a nice cedar wood in here and all that sort of thing. And then a ton of neroli and some citrus. Very fresh, very uplifting. There's a sweetness, but it's not coming from the woods or a vanilla or tonka bean or anything. Now, the sweetness here is actually coming from the neroli and the citruses, kind of the grapefruit here. It kind of has the sugared, citrusy, neroli type of smell. It's green, it's aromatic, again, it's woody, it's relatively masculine. There are some nuances that make it maybe kind of in the middle for some, but I do think that this does have some, more masculine traits as well, hence why it's in the Bulgari Man line. They had to kind of trend it that way somewhat. To me, this reminds me a little bit of Xerjoff Kobe. That's a great one, which kind of does a similar thing with a creamy orange and some neroli and some other florals and citruses and some woods and that sort of thing. Just a really nice DNA that is the epitome of spring. This smells like everything coming back to life and thawing out and warming up. And going into it, I for sure thought it was going to be pleasant. I had no doubt about it. But when I tried it for the first time, I was surprised in the best way possible. This, for the price, is a fantastic citrus neroli scent. You got to have this one. Let's go over to Hugo Boss next. And this is a brand that can be hit or miss for some people. However, this one turned out really well, I think. Hugo Boss, the scent, Le Parfum. So this is, it was their newest release. Now they came out with Magnetic, which I don't have yet. However, this is kind of the newest one that you can actually buy right now officially. It has iris, manica fruit, and leather in here. There is some ginger, there's some woods going on, cedar wood, and so They did give us a few more notes to this one compared to some others where they've only given us 3, like the newest one, Magnetic, they're only giving us 3, so they were a little bit more generous with this note breakdown. It doesn't matter too much though. Really, it's that signature, the Boss, the scent DNA, that really unique Manica fruit that stands out. This one's got a nice creamy iris and a little bit more focus on woods and a little bit of a kind of a spicy ginger kick. Smells amazing. It's a really well done, creamy, silky, succulent, and smooth scent here. It's great for the temperature range that we're in right now, just cooler weather. You want something that's going to be comforting and mass pleasing. This is a great one to check out, and it impressed me a lot. Now we're going to go over to a cheapie with AZZARO Visit Pour Homme. I believe right around $25 on discounters right now for a 100 ml bottle just like this one. So this has cedarwood, nutmeg, incense, and pink pepper in here. I've talked about this one a bit on the channel, and I've always pointed out the fact that this bottle is very misleading. You see blue, you see clear, kind of looks like AZZARO chrome. You know, you even have the lettering down here, the AZZARO at the bottom. Just the bottle shape is different, but the coloration, it looks similar to that of the OG AZZARO chrome, right? Or maybe one of the flankers or something, a little bit of a darker juice color. This is nothing like AZZARO chrome. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's woody, it's dry, it's smoky, it is incredibly masculine. And for the price, you can't really get a better dry, woody, spicy scent, you know, in this price range. This is incredible. Really nice, masculine, traditional scent that's going to be for the guy who wants nothing to do with the overwhelmingly sweet, you know, tonka bean vanilla scents that has kind of taken over. You know, it's kind of like the next Ambroxan wave. This is something that's really going to make you stand out in a positive way. Next up, we have Carolina Herrera Iris Empire. So you guys know I love my iris. It's no surprise. And so when I saw this one pop up, I knew I had to get it. And of course, going into it, for sure, I knew I was going to like it, right? There's, you know, when it has iris, I usually like it a lot. However, and so as soon as I tried this one for the first time, I knew it was special. And besides the obvious, this also has some chocolate and some leather in here. And the way I've described this one is it kind of smells a bit like your main sweet irises, more specifically Dior Homme Intense, Valentino Uomo Intense meets CH Men Privé by the same brand, although that one's discontinued. That same type of leather accord and even a bit of a whiskey booziness from this one, even though officially it's not listed in here, mixing with that sweet iris and great atomizer, by the way. Nice chocolatey smell that you do get from Dior Homme Intense. Drop dead gorgeous. I mean, you pick up on that chocolate in the air like nobody's business. This is an absolute work of art. This thing's a beauty, and it's not redundant even if you own those other irises. I mean, this one has just a different approach with that leather, and the chocolate is even more pronounced. This is an absolute stunner. I love how this smells. Easily a 10 out of 10. Next up, we have AZZARO, the most wanted parfum. So currently the newest one of the line. I would imagine maybe we're going to get another flanker this year because they've kind of ramped up the flankers here all of a sudden. Although maybe they'll take some time off. Who knows, right? Maybe they'll start a new line. Although I have to say, I'm really impressed by this one a lot. So some of the notes here, you get some general woods. They don't really specify, mostly a sandalwood to me personally, a ginger, and then a bourbon vanilla. So really nice, simplistic note breakdown that you can't really digest too much from. What I'll tell you though is it is quite similar to the Most Wanted, which has your toffee accord and I believe some cardamom and some tonka and that sort of thing. However, this one's unique because off the top you get this kind of fizzy, almost grape soda smell, similar to the opening of Dunhill Icon. It's interesting. However, does pretty quickly dry down into some more sweetness and some more vanilla, almost a booziness perhaps from the boozy vanilla or bourbon vanilla that's in here. Just a really well done flanker, and when you're talking about the Most Wanted and the Most Wanted Parfum, this is my personal favorite. This still can't quite pass up the Wanted by Night, but it is close. I think this one is fantastic. Let's keep it moving with Bond number 9, New Harlem. So this one, for whatever reason, was hard to get there for a long time. Now it's back at retail, and it's popped up here and there on discounters. So you can get this one usually in the mid $200 range when it's available on discounters. Now this has coffee, vanilla, and tonka bean. If I had to describe it in terms of a certain food, because this is very much a gourmand, not only does it smell like coffee because you get that coffee accord in here, but it's so sweet in a way where it almost smells like pancakes with syrup on them. That sounds crazy and weird, but it really does. And when I got this one in for the first time and I tried it, I was mesmerized at just how sweet and gourmand it is and how it does really replicate that type of smell. This is not going to be for everybody. Just a really quick warning here. You have to be in to overwhelmingly sweet gourmand scents. Like, this is sweetness on the level of like ultra male or something, right? So not for everybody. But if you're into this sort of thing, you are going to love it. Now, again, this one on discounters can be a little bit hard to get. However, it has popped up, and each time it has, I've posted about it on my community tab, and I've sent it out to my mailing list subscribers each time. So if you want a fighting chance at getting this one, get on that mailing list, and when it pops up, I'll let you guys know. Let's keep it going with another cheapie, kind of changing price range here completely with Roberto Cavalli UOMO. I believe this one's sitting right around $31, 100 ml bottle on discounters. Really nice competitive price for a scent that contains violet leaf, honey, and some tonka bean in here. That's a note breakdown that you don't normally see in a cheapie scent. You know, kind of looks similar to like a Cartier Linvol Eau de Parfum or something. It's got the honey and that sort of thing going on, the sweetness. This is quite a bit different than that one. It's going to be more designer, even though the Cartier is obviously a designer as well. But you know, that one's got more of a premium feel, a little bit more challenging. This is going to be more appropriate for the price range. You know, I think most guys out there jumping into this one for 30 bucks won't have too much of a problem with being able to pull it off. I don't think it's going to be too challenging for you. However, again, do your own research and study the note breakdown, because this still isn't going to be your typical freshie or aquatic. Quite the opposite. But it's a different take. You know, with that violet leaf mixing with honey, it's like ozonic and fresh meets sweetness. It's green meets sweetness, and then a little bit of a dusty tonka bean. It's different, but it's very well done. And if you want uniqueness for a cheap price, this is one of the better ones on the market right now. Let's keep it moving with ISSEY MIYAKE NUIT Parfum. Now, this is kind of my go-to vanilla and leather scent. That's really all you need to know about this one. This is fantastic. Again, a little bit hard to find sometimes on discounters. However, it's one of those deals where it does pop up from time to time, and it's really, if you're on the mailing list, if you're checking the community tab, it's not too hard to get. But I do want to include it anyway, because this is one that is worth being on the lookout for. It is worth being able to secure yourself a bottle or two. That way you can enjoy it for years to come, because who knows what they're going to do with this. They are always putting out flankers, guys. And the fact of the matter is, they can't keep everything in production. There just isn't room for that logistically and everything. So they do have to discontinue things. Generally, stuff like this isn't going to work well in the mainstream, and so eventually it gets discontinued. Not saying 100% that's the case right now, but it very likely could be. So be on the lookout for this one. Fantastic leather vanilla with a little bit of a black pepper spiciness, some other woods going on, but it's a really well done, well executed scent with some masculine traits and some nice warm sweet notes as well. Really nice stuff for a great price, and at a full parfum concentration, a great performer. Jump over from one parfum to another with Armani Code Parfum. So this one has iris. You get a little bit of like an aldehydic note in here, some cedar wood, bergamot off the top, just a nice little bright kick of bergamot. Definitely isn't a citrus scent, but a real nice brightness, almost a little bit of a tartness off the opening. Very well done. It's not overbearing, as it shouldn't be, because again, this is an Armani Code. And then the tonka bean comes into play pretty heavily here, which is kind of giving it that dusty, kind of sweet, powdery smell that you get from Armani Code eau de toilette. So this is a parfum, and it really brings this DNA back to life. That iris in here is what makes this one amazing. It's a nice modernized take, and even compared to the eau de parfum, which wasn't released all that long ago, that one's got a lot more vanilla and suede going on. They're quite a bit different. I think if you are to pick up an Armani code in 2023, even with the new eau de toilette out on the market, which I do have, and a video will be coming up on that soon, I think this is the one to get. I really do still. Again, even with that new eau de toilette, this is just that DNA, but it's modernized, it's refreshed, and it's perfected, and it's a great one to have. And last up, we have Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Italian Love. So with that, super heavy grapefruit note, you get bergamot, violet leaf, ozonic notes, right? So bright, so tart, so fresh. I wasn't going to spray it, but I can't help myself. Smells just drop dead gorgeous. Talk about a photorealistic, uplifting, bright, and just positive smelling citrus scent. I mean, this is something that you can spray on in the spring, summertime. Doesn't matter when, July, August, the hottest of the summer heat, and it's going to smell amazing. It's going to give you this motivation and this uplifting feeling. Just a really nice, well done scent that, again, you got to be a citrus lover for it, but if you are, you should have this one around. When I got my hands on this DNA for the first time, I'm like, holy crap, this is what it's all about. This is taking a line that's been existing for years now, the light blue line, and finally giving us something that is a little bit different in a way, and really kind of tests the limits, so to speak, of which you can put out to the masses, because this is not a Dylan Blue or Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel or anything. This is kind of on the line, and I really respect the brand for doing this, because it's not going to be for everybody, but for the people who do want something unique and different, you got to have it. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 fragrances that completely left me speechless. Let me know down below what are some scents that kind of had a similar effect for you. I will link these down below, and don't forget to hop on the mailing list if you want to pick up some rare, hard to find things. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.